Hey everybody, Dr. Lean here. I want to personally welcome you to Management 5810, Strategic Management, and walk you through the course, my expectations for you, give you some tips and tricks to get you through quickly, and that way you don't spend your first week or two kind of digging around the course trying to find out what you need to do and where you need to go. Okay, so this is your course, your D2L course. You've been in here lots of times. You know how this is going to look. You've clicked on Management 5810, and this is your announcements page. You will see this information down here. I've already sent this out in an email to you. That's our primary textbook right there. It's going to be able to be downloaded for free online. It's actually got some really cool links and things already embedded into it. So you download that and put it in any kind of format that you want. This is your other book. If you have not already purchased this, it's called The Art of Strategy. I was able to get it on Amazon for about $20, but I know you can buy them used for cheaper than that. It is what I call a popular press book. It's just a paperback book. It's about 200 and something pages. It's not incredibly too big. We will not be reading all of these, so don't get too stressed out. I have chosen select chapters out of The Art of Strategy, and then we just kind of pick and choose here and there certain parts of strategic management that we read that support what we're reading in The Art of Strategy. Some of you may be really familiar with strategy, and some of you this may be your first experience with it. So I don't want to assume you know what any of the words mean. So we start with the text, and then we read the popular press book. Up here, this announcement, this is just going to include the link of the video I'm making right now. So you'll have already gotten this in email. The link will also be here so that if you lose the email or you start going in the class and you think, oh, wait, she said something in that video about that, I want to go back and rewatch it. It's right here, ready to go. So when you get ready to start day one, click on content, and I have week one pulled up for you right there. You will see that the class is broken down into 7 weeks. The last week is dedicated to entirely our major field testings and exit surveys, but we'll talk about that some more in a minute. Every week 1 through 6 is exactly the same, right? Same format, same everything. There's week 1, there's week 2, they're all the same all the way down through week 6. I know that may seem a little boring, but I do it that way on purpose so that nothing takes you by surprise. You're not caught off guard by anything. You know what to expect and what you need to do every single week. For the first thing, you'll see that they're numbered. Week 1, first activity, read your assignments in this order. I have put them in this order for a reason. There's your textbook, Strategic Management. I want you to read a few pages, right? And that supports what you're going to read in the Art of Strategy. And then I want you to go back and read a few pages out of Strategic Management again. That's your textbook. This section is talking about internationalization, and then that supports what you're going to talk about and what you're going to read about in the Art of Strategy. It is important that you read these in the order that I've put them on there so that it will make more sense to you. This is your short, I think week 6 is actually your shortest week in terms of reading, but this is kind of a short week in reading. You'll see that week 2, for example, there's a lot of pages in there, right? Before you get upset and worried about it, this is a grad program. This is your capstone course. This is going to be a lot of reading in this course. I do my very best to only ask you to read things that you need to read. I don't waste your time with filler. And I also make sure that, like I said, with the Art of Strategy, and I've put this out before, and the message, I want it to be interesting. So I chose the Art of Strategy because it's a military and a business book. And hopefully it's a bit more of an interesting read to you, a little bit of history in there as well. After you have read all this, key point there being after you have read it, you will have a reading comprehension check for each week. It's a nice way of saying a quiz. Sometimes people get upset and get a little anxious about a quiz. So I call it a reading comprehension check. It is obviously all open note, open book, open everything but another person. And I try to, there it is right down there, reading comprehension check. When you click on that, it will take you immediately to the quiz. Each question is worth 3 points. You only have 1 attempt to take the quiz. It's not timed though, so feel free to take as much time as you want. Make sure that when you are taking the quiz, the comprehension check, that you have your books ready with you in front of you, right? If it is a opinion-based question, then you can't get it wrong, right? As long as you put something in there that makes sense and is more than 1 line, you will get full credit for that. If like you probably could have done better, maybe you'll get partial credit for that question. Questions that refer to the art of war or mention Sun Tzu will be questions that are coming out of the Art of Strategy book. I try to make sure that that's in each question so that you're not going back and forth between the books trying to figure out where the question's coming from. And then the questions that refer to kind of just the basic, like what I would think of as like vocabulary textbook type questions, those are coming straight out of the textbook. So hopefully that will help you get through those a little bit quicker. It is not meant to catch you or to trick you or to in any way hurt your grade or knock you back. It is simply a way for me to make sure that you have read what I asked you to read without making you write a paper on it. So hopefully you'll appreciate that and do a good job on that. The third thing you do each week is click on this little link right here, and it will take you to something called Flipgrid. I don't mind admitting I stole this from my first grader. When they were sent home for virtual school last year, his first grade teacher sent home an assignment one day, and it was Flipgrid, and it just blew my mind because I have not been able to find a really good way for online students to do video feedback, short of having to learn YouTube and do YouTube channels, and it was a whole big mess. So this is awesome. It's short and sweet. Every time you click on, so week 1 is going to have its own individual link. Week 2, it's going to have week 2 is going to have its own individual link, right? So when you click on that link, it will take you to week 1 feedback. Week 2 will say week 2 feedback, and so on and so forth. There are instructions at the bottom down here. If you scroll down, the Flipgrid instructions, it is super simple. Again, my first grader did this. I stole this from him. Click on the link. When you first click on the link, you're not going to see this because you won't have a login yet. When you get ready to go logging in, follow the instructions. Super, like I said, really, really easy. Click join with Microsoft. Be sure to use your APSU email address. That will make things go a lot. Well, you have to use it. You don't have any other option, right? But then after that, I mean, I have the instructions here, but you probably won't even need them. It is so point and click easy. It's ridiculous. You click on your response, your classmates will put their responses in here. And again, it's just a really fun way of getting all of us where we can have discussion comments and posts without actually having to just type everything out. So I'm trying to get everybody to connect and feel a little bit more like a classroom rather than just an island unto yourself in this online class. So for each week, read your assignments, do your reading comprehension check, which will be down here. And then you have your Flipgrid. So that's where you post your video about what you read, your feedback on the week. And then you are expected to comment on at least one other person's video. The instructions are here. I also have attached each week the grading rubric that I will use. Each time you make comments on Flipgrid, it is worth 15 points. 10 points are based upon your video, and 5 points will be based upon your comment on another person's video. I fully expect, as with most discussion questions, that everybody, for the most part, every single week is going to get 100%, 15 out of 15. However, if you do not get your full points, maybe you get 10 out of 15, on the grade book, I will put down your grade, and then in the comment section, I will say maybe that you gave some weird stories. You gave me, well, this one time when I was in high school, my cousin did this weird thing, and I would think that the story you gave me has nothing to do with the reading, right? So you'd lose a point for that. So maybe you'd have a 14 out of 15. Or maybe you commented on someone's post and your response was, wow, that's interesting. Thanks for that comment. That was really cool. I'd never thought about that before. Well, as nice as that is, that's basically useless. You haven't given us any information. You haven't told the person anything, right? So you lose 3 points for that. So I will not fill out one of these for y'all each time you do a comment or a video, but it's there for you to see if you don't get a perfect score, I will tell you why you did not get that score. And I will also refer back to this grading rubric so that you'll know what is expected of you. I try very, very hard to give feedback within a couple days of when it's due. So if you guys the assignments are always due on a Sunday at midnight. I try very hard to have feedback to you within 24 to 48 hours. Because if I'm not giving you feedback quickly enough, you can't change the problems that I'm noticing. And I don't want to get into a really bad cycle of like, you've got a problem, I comment on it, and then you've already done the next week's work before you've had a chance to make the corrections to the things I've commented on. I'm really good about responding to email. I'm pretty quick about that. Just like everybody else, it goes to my phone. So if you message me, if I'm up, if it's 12 a.m. or 1 a.m., if I'm up and I'm there and I will respond, right? So it's one of those things. I have been in your shoes. I have been an MBA and a grad student trying to work full time and do this stuff at night and on the weekends. So I know how it feels to try to do this stuff at night and between putting kids to bed and coming home from work and you're tired. So I try to be accessible as much as I can be in the hours that you need me to be. I'm going to talk about week 7 a little bit now, but I'm going to send out more information as we get closer to time. I want you guys to already be having this in the back of your mind that week 7, so the week leading up to July 18th, I joke that it's hell week, but it's not really, it's not that bad. But you need to get it in your mind that this is a week of serious work. This is your comprehensive exams for the entire program. When you get in here, when you get on week 7, here's information on the major field test, but down here is where you actually link to it. When you click on that link, it's going to take you to an external site, and it's going to walk you through everything you need to do then and there. I'll come back to that in a minute, see if it's pulled up. Okay, so we do the major field test. It is a requirement. It's necessary for us because from an accrediting standpoint, right? That's what's the organization that makes sure that your degree is actually worth something. We have to prove that you're learning things in this class and that you're learning what we're teaching you and that we're teaching what we say we're going to teach you. No, it's not showing up. Anyway, I've never had the link not work for me, so you shouldn't have any problems. But it's just there to make sure that we're teaching what we say we're teaching and that you're learning what you're supposed to be learning. Okay, so you click on that link down here. There are some sample questions here. So if you're a little anxious or you're nervous about taking this test and you want to see kind of the level of the difficulty and what the questions will look like, then by all means, click on that question set down there. It's kind of lengthy, but it's mainly because there's 9 sections to the test. Each section has 10 questions, right? And so I think there's 2 or 3 samples for each section. So I'll show you in there. Samples, the sections are like leadership, communication, ethics. They're all things that you have covered in this course. All right, after you have done your major field, and I don't care what order you do these in. If you want to do your case study first or your exit survey and then your major field test, it's totally up to you. The only really important thing I'd point out is that Peregrine, their customer service is open normal business hours. So if you wait to take this test at midnight, the day before it's due, and you run into a problem, they're not going to be able to help you. They're not going to be able to help you till they open back up the next business day. So my suggestion is take the major field test first. You only need to take it once. It does count as a portion of your grade. So take it seriously. Make sure you have set aside time to do this, that you're not taking this in the evening when you're tired after a long day of work and the kids are running around. Take this very seriously, please, because this does affect your grade and it is comprehensive. Then you have a case study that's going to be due. If you click down here under case study, I'll have more information down there. It's instructions. The case study is a way for us to see your general understanding of making strategic decisions, as well as how well can you write and communicate. And you will also have a presentation associated with this case study. Just like I had the flip grid grading rubric, I will have a grading rubric for your case study down there. So you will know exactly what's expected of you, what I'm looking for when I'm grading, what I'm looking for when I click on your presentation to see what you're putting out there. Professionalism is key here, right? So that's a big deal. On your exit survey, it's pretty simple. It's just a qualtrics survey I've created. We have to also get information about your experience in this program. Again, that's another accreditation thing. I need to see what you think you've learned, your experiences you've had in this course. And then the last thing you need to do is plan your graduation party. We are so close to graduation, y'all. Just maybe 2 months, a few weeks, then you're done, right? One thing I do want to talk about that I forgot to mention, when you do your flip grid here, this presentation right here, one of the things I'm grading on that I'm looking for is your professionalism. And that is also talking about, are you appropriately dressed? That does not mean, are you in a suit and tie every single week? I do not care about that stuff. What that means is, are you sitting there in your pajamas? Gentlemen, are you wearing a shirt? Please don't do a video not wearing a shirt. Are you wearing a shirt that has foul language on it? Are you covered in spaghetti sauce? Again, I am not by any means expecting suit and tie. I'm not even expecting a dress shirt. You are totally fine to sit there in a t-shirt if you want, but I just need to see that you are taking this seriously.